side and the air quality side, we've remained a very prudent area about that, and clean air here in the city of Fredericton on a national scale. So I mean, it's important that we keep this. It's important that we understand all of the things that the pressures on that, and the effects of fracking could be in the city of Fredericton. So, it is a very contentious issue, but a very important issue, and it's really important that we understand all the information we can. So we have groups like Mark's out there that believe in ensuring that we get the proper information. It's great that they do their presentations and we do get all the appropriate information so we can either move things forward to the government or decide that we address the issue or whatever. But information is not a bad thing to have, so it's important to have all that. Thank you.
Kelly? Oh, sorry, Scott.
Yeah, no, I was talking with Mark from the committee. You give us lots of good information to read and to basically give us more information on all the sides of the debate. I think we've been pretty clear on the fact that I don't know anybody on the council who supports any kind of shale gas development within the city, that's for sure. And I can never see it ever happening here. I think it's great that you've got this information here, and you've left us with quite a few questions to ask, I guess, problems on, I guess, not just on the other issues you're talking about, but also on the air pollution issue, I guess. So, I was trying to kind of understand why Fredericton more than, let's say, I assume that things, when air moves in here, it must move out too, that it just doesn't stay here. Obviously, there's a lot of truck traffic on the road now today, and how much of that actually ends up on here, and to understand exactly how many truck movements a year that represents when you quoted all those different ones, I'm not 100% sure on, but you definitely give us more information to think about and ask the province maybe about these issues. But as far as I don't know anybody who thinks that there'll ever be any shale gas development in this city, because everybody I think is on record saying there won't be. So, anyways, that's all I can say right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This seems to be the issue that just won't go away. I have made it abundantly clear in the past. I think Councillor McConaughey kind of reaffirms there's no desire for fracking. I've said it very clearly, publicly, on more than one occasion, after speaking to Mr. Alexander, and I told him that we don't want fracking. We do not want investigative holes being drilled or anything else. And he said, we have no intention of doing it. And I said, well, then you shouldn't have a problem with me coming out and saying there will be no fracking. It's precisely what I said. Of course, water and air is important to us. That goes without saying. But it seems to be that, I don't know, but I don't know if people take me seriously when I say that, or they think that I'm saying it for political reasons. But I haven't changed my views on this, nor have I changed my view on the protection of our water that I've been talking about for years. This is just like the issue that won't go away. So if it takes a vote of council to stop it, then that's where it should have went in the first place. And then it's no longer an issue. And that's where I tried to take it, as you know. So we don't need another 5 presentations or another 7 presentations, in my estimation, to convince me that we're not going to do it here. Because I'm already convinced that it's unacceptable and we're not going to do it here. All that takes is hold up your hand and say you agree with me, and if you do, then what more can we do beyond that? I've also said that, what they do up in Edmundston or what they do in other places, that's the province is going to have to deal with that. Of course, I'd like the provincial environment to be pristine and to be protected, But there's very little I can do other than to make our statement in our community, and then the provincial government has to take the necessary steps to look after the environment, to look after the rivers, the streams, and the air in the province of New Brunswick. So, you got 7 people here today. I mean, if it gives a better indication, forget about the committee. Ask the members of council, there's 7 of them here today, which is the majority of council, if they agree with me. And that'll give you a pretty clear message. So it doesn't take another 2-hour presentation, or a 3-hour presentation, or it doesn't take, that's not necessary. I mean, appreciate all the stuff that Mark's done, and I appreciate the information that he's given us today. I've already made my mind up. I'm already convinced. I'm on his side when it comes to the city of Fredericton. So, what I'm saying is, if it's an issue, then take it off the table and let it not be an issue. You got 7 people here, Mr. Chairman. That should give anybody that's in the room a pretty good indicator of how they feel. And if somebody wants to stand up and say, I support fracking for the right reasons and here's what they are, then let them say that. I haven't heard anybody through all of this since I made my comment on council come up to me and say, we disagree with that. We want them in here. We want them fracking. We want them investigating up on the UNB woodline. Nobody has said that. And I also said, as a member of the Board of Governors, I mean, I wouldn't be in favor of something like that. So I've got 2 prongs here. I got the municipality, the city as mayor, and the UNB Board of Governors. And there's no talk of that. We have Kathy will tell you we've got, our water is protected by legislation. I'm not even so sure where this fracking is going to take place if it were to, which I'm against. So I think there may be a real issue here with the province of New Brunswick and what's going to take place. I don't so much think the issue is here. And if it requires a vote to state that so it's on the record, that's what I asked for, so I'm prepared to do that. And I have a meeting at 12:30, as I told you, so I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew where I was coming from, and I'm going to go down the road and attend that meeting at 12:30, Mr. Chairman, but I appreciate the opportunity to say a few words. This is not an election issue, because it needs to be dealt with. And I've already asked that. Correct? Correct. It doesn't have to be here. It shouldn't have been here in the first place. It should have been dealt with. Thank you very much, and have a great day. Yes, Mr. Kelly.
5 more minutes, just 2 more minutes after Steve speaks.
2 more minutes.
Then I'd better be quick. Thanks, Mark, for coming in and sharing that information with us. It's always valuable, to have your perspective brought to the table. We need people like you, to bring these issues into the public. I support basically what His Worship has said, but I would add that, as you know, I work for a conservation organization, and we're supportive of the precautionary principle. And so in addition to, being against any gas fracking in the city, I think Mark's point, one of his points today was that even in and around the area, of Fredericton is a concern. And I think this is something where we need to get facts from the province of New Brunswick to understand, what the pollutant implications are from fracking in and around the Fredericton area. I'm with His Worship as far as the city of Fredericton. It's not our jurisdiction beyond those boundaries, but we do need to get some information brought to the table.
Kelly? Just to wrap up for me, I don't think there's anything wrong with demonstrating a leadership example by making it official and going on record. If that takes paper to do it, then it takes paper to do it. Ask the province and municipalities to consider Fredericton's position on shale gas development, whatever that is, and a note be crafted to that effect. And hereby make a motion to forward this request on to City Council to consider that request. That letter be crafted to the province to share our concern on shale gas development, same to the community municipalities, and we go on record and it's become part of the public domain. And Fredericton is, like some of the others that are out there, publicly, putting their position on this contentious issue.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman. I have a quick question. Is that very similar to the one that I presented?
That's probably very similar to the one that you presented. It's no recyclable.
And I'll second that, to unrecyclable, and recycle it and get it to council and have it voted on.
On the question,
Yeah, just, so we're gonna ask the, we're gonna state where we are on the issue in Fredericton. But we're gonna ask them for more information on sort of the situation. We're just trying to understand what you just said.
What we're trying to say is that we're concerned about shale gas development until there's more information about it known, that we're not supportive of shale gas development taking place in and around the city or for the province for that matter. And we'll leave it to the pleasure of council to decide to the extent to which the wording will take place.
Is that what you understood?
What I understand is what I presented to council is what I'm prepared to stand down and submit, which does include talking to the province with a concern about what impact it does have on the environment outside of our city.
Yes.
It does not say anything beyond that, and I'm not prepared to second anything beyond it, because I think what we're being asked for is what I've suggested, and I'm prepared to go with that at the next council meeting. Not to add anything to it, not to take anything from it. I think it was very well crafted in terms of what we are and who we are and what we expect, and our view of outside the city.
that's it, okay. You want to read the motion again?
I move that the province and the union of municipalities be approached on Fredericton's position on shale gas development in and around the city. And that letter be drafted by staff that incorporates the previous draft that was unsuccessful to be brought forward to council for consideration.
Do I have a second for that?
Well,
That's a little different from the original one, is it not? What's the original motion? Be upon request.
Well, I'll second it, because, I mean, we're gonna send it off to council on this, so, might as well second it. The debate on the exact wording can happen.
That's right, yeah, okay. All in favor? Mark, you did some practice.
All right, thank you.
It's interesting, I think.
Get out of the way, get out of the way.
So you had people that, you had people that's going
Yeah.
to be brought up in front of council.
Yeah.
What's the next council meeting?
What?
What's the next council meeting?
Next Monday?
Is that the last one?
No.
Nope.
No, we meet all through May.
May? So what do you think?
We all through April and May.
You think it's a good idea just to say, the strong city, this is a green city, send a strong message, not even in our area, we don't want it.
Well, I can't control outside. I can't control what goes on in
Suggest.
Woodstock.
Suggests,
No, I think that that's up to their communities to suggest. I mean, I've made a pretty clear and pretty strong statement. I mean, I'm not holding back any punches here. But I think it's important for the province, and other people are going to have to do the same thing, and that's up to them to do it. This is my fight right here.
and it will not be for, if it's the way they dig, it could be horizontal.
Yeah.
You know, they could dig about 5 miles out of the city and still go under the city, right?
I don't know if it's 5, but I've heard of that. I've heard of that, yeah.
So then we'll have to, you have to educate yourself, right?
We-
So that's 2 interviews in one day. I'm starting to get on your nerves.
No, you'll never get on my nerves.
Talk to you
My
later.
francophone friend.